All right, guys, so welcome to FMA. We're a little bit at a disadvantage today. We're kind of missing our speaker, hopefully just for a little bit. Hoping he shows up in the next half hour. But anyway, I wanted to have at least a few of our vice presidents and one of the vice presidents of the Financial Planning Association talk about some of the things that they're going to be doing, and have Jason Petner talk about CFA as well. So, IRC. So we're missing Max DeBlasio, our vice president of membership. So Billy, if you want to come up, and if you want to just give a little word about that.
Right, so membership dues, a couple of you were asking about those. Now, the membership dues for this chapter at FMA, Barron FMA, is $15. And you could pay those at the rough desk. We do not take cash, we don't take check or anything. You have to go and do it at the rough desk, the union building desk. If you want, you can actually pay the international dues, and you could actually place FMA on your resume as an association that you are part of, like an organization that you are actually part of. And that is the only way you can put it on your resume. But you can go onto FMA International, look it up on Google, and you'll be able to find it there. Membership for the international organization is $50. And one of the cool things is actually you can go and pay your local dues as well through that. So you don't even have to make the extra trip to the rough desk. So in total, it comes up to $65 if you want to pay for 2 years of international membership and the dues for this local chapter. So go ahead and do that if you have not already.
Okay, next I'd like to get a few remarks from Jason Petner, who is a vice president of the Financial Planning Association and also a member of the Investment Research Challenge.
Here is the Financial Planning Club, and we just had a meeting last Monday. Had a pretty good turnout. We're looking to keep increasing the amount of turnout that we can get. It's nice to have 2 finance clubs on campus because we have a lot of paths that you can go, the analysis route or the planning route. So it's nice to have both sides if you want to be either one of those. If you want to be a part of that, let me know. We'll get you involved. And we actually have a group meet chat going on. So we meet on Mondays at 5 o'clock. Usually the first Monday of every month. So if you want to get involved and want to learn a little bit more about that, let me know. As far as the IRC goes, I don't know if any of you have heard of it, but it's the Investment Research Challenge, and it's through the CFA Society. It's a global competition, and we'll be competing against teams in Pittsburgh in the springtime. We win that, we'll go on to the national competition. Last year's team actually made it into the top 21 in the world, so trying to keep on with that trend. We have currently found what company we're doing. It's First National Bank. So we're doing a lot of detailed analysis on that, which if any of you have ever valued financials, you'll realize how much of a fun time that is, all sarcasm intended. So it'll be a good time, hopefully represent Barron again and take it to the next level. So I'll be keeping you updated on that as we keep going in the process. So thank you.
Who's on the team?
Oh, good call. We have Austin Montevecchio, Andrew Bazzelli, who is usually here, Richard Kelly, and Ariana Clark. So that's our team of 5 and myself, and looking to represent Penn State Barron well.
And another quick thing I wanted to add was talking about the Intrary Family Student Managed Fund. If you're interested, please definitely contact Dr. Tim Krause, tak25@psu.edu, or email myself. I'm the President and Chief Investment Officer. We're really looking for analysts to kind of get ahead as freshmen and do some qualitative research for each of the lead analysts. So yeah, if you're interested, please contact us. We're doing very well so far. So yeah, Dr. Coy, is there anything you want to talk about? Just mention his dates or.
I know that related to the investment fund, the student managed investment fund that you're doing, those things, there's a lot of things that you're going to learn while you're in school that you might not take with you to the workforce. Admittedly so. Not everything that you learn here is going to be useful to you when you go on out. But one thing that is commonly said about these student managed investment funds, where you're investing a portion of the money that's been donated to the university, These are things that if you are going into this area of finance, these are the things that you'll really do in your jobs. I did one of these funds when I was in graduate school, and I'm in touch with a couple of people that I was in those student managed firms with, and they go out and they get real jobs, and they're doing exactly the same thing you did in those funds. So if you really want some real life experience and you're getting credit for it too, it's a great experience. I would definitely contact Dr. Krause about it and see if you can get involved. Great.
Right, sounds cool. Well, JD actually just emailed me and he's on his way, so that's some pretty good news. But one of the things I wanted to bring up residentially was, who here hasn't gotten the Bloomberg certificate? Okay, are you guys all freshmen? Yeah. Okay, yeah, I highly recommend taking it. It's really good for the financial analysis aspect of what you're going to do as a finance major here. And especially if you're on the CFA track, I think having it while you're taking any of Dr. Krause's classes is highly beneficial. So, and also it's offered as extra credit for some of the courses as well. So yeah, just a reminder out there, come down Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 2:30 to 5:30.
Tuesday and Thursday at 1 to 6.
So I'm there Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and William Mayor's down there Tuesday, Thursday. So I guess we'll just wait a little bit until JD gets here. Like I said, he just emailed me. He said he's on his way, so feel free to have some pizza, some more to drink, and we'll wait until JD gets here. So.
Which will be on Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
So it's Burke 180.
185.
Is it 180 or is it 185 the trading lab? I don't remember those.
Yeah,
yet.
just roll through where the dual screen lab
Yeah,
is.
I know.
Yeah, it's that little.
Some signs on the walls down there.
Yeah, I put a bunch of signs up that said financial markets lab or something like that. There's arrows that point to it, so.
That's all I found. That Bloomberg, you guys are using the Bloomberg and the investment research challenge. I think the last couple of seasons used it quite extensively.
Yeah, I built a model on it last year, so it'll hopefully help a lot. So that's what I built it for the student managed fund, so we can value it. It's like an instant valuation. So.
And so the Bloomberg that Max was talking about is going to come in handy with that too. Not only do you have something to put on your resume, but if you do something like the investment research challenge, student managed fund, or one of those things, you'll get into that Bloomberg and really get some research out of it. It's one thing to look at some site like Yahoo, which has decent information there, but it's not a research database. It's where you can go look stuff up. But say if I want all the data for this from the last 10 years or something, I'm not really going to go in Yahoo and take it one at a time right there. So the Bloomberg offers a place that's an actual financial database of information where you go in and put search queries, things like, I'd like to see all mergers and acquisitions of publicly traded firms that were more than $10 million from 1990 to 2009. You can put in a query like that and you get all this information out instead of having to go search and try to find this transaction one at a time. So it's a really valuable tool. Not only you can use it in some of your classes, but especially these peripheral things like the managed fund, the investment research challenge, you'll find them really handy.
And then Max, isn't there also, they just added a career network for the Bloomberg. So if you have a Bloomberg email, they have a separate career network that people can look you up through the Bloomberg network. So once you get your name created and get out there, it's another thing you can put on your resume and also another way to meet CFAs, because pretty much most CFAs are able to use Bloomberg.
I was gonna say, I mean, if you look up any of the CEOs, they all have Bloomberg. So, and another thing I kind of wanted to add, it is accessible to students who don't have an actual Bloomberg terminal. What is it? You just go on to Bloomberg University's website. You probably just Google Bloomberg Market Concept Certificate. It is, I think it's $149 to take it on a laptop, but you can get the Bloomberg Market Certificate through there. And I mean, it's just another thing to add on the resume. So I guess I'll just wait for JD now. Like I said, feel free to grab some pizza. Oh, there he is.
Don't wait no longer. How's everyone?
Good.
Yeah, JD, we're all ready for whenever you want to start us off.
Okay. My name's JD. My name is John Zwigart. I go by JD. I'm currently the general manager of the Northeast manufacturing plant for the legacy companies. I graduated from Barron here in 2006, 2007. Started in 2002, so it took me 5 years on that wonderful 5-year plan most of the students are on. Just want to tell you a little bit about myself, my journey, kind of what took me to get to where I am. Before I graduated, Dr. Philbeck actually helped me get an internship with a company called Erie Management Group here in town. I started as a financial analyst for a very small company that they had. It was called Westwind Financial. So I went in there, we did analysis for many different companies, mainly trying to lend money to businesses that wanted to do alternative energy. So before I got into that, whenever I was in school here, I started out as an engineer. So for 2 years I was an engineer, decided that was not for me. I wanted to really deal with numbers, deal with things like that, math, and that's kind of what you hear engineering is, and that is not at all accurate. It's very complex math, not at all what I wanted to do, not the numbers I wanted to do. So I quickly got it, it's 4 semesters later, I got out of that, went into accounting and finance, which most engineers do as they get out of engineering and realize that's not what they want to do. From accounting, I really thought that's what I wanted to do. I got an internship at a local CPA firm, and then quickly realized that's not what I wanted to do either. So I do have a degree in accounting, degree in finance, but finance was really what I wanted to do. So I got this job at Westwind Financial. I started there doing a lot of analysis, figuring out these businesses. Some of these business plans were 3 pages long, some of them were 300 pages long. Some were just an idea in a guy's head that said, I want to do this with wind energy. And some of them were already companies that had a ton of history that I had to go through and do the analysis on. Very, very, very interesting. Very few of them that were worthwhile investing in, but it was very interesting work. So if I have any advice for you, it's really to try and figure out what you want to do. You heard a lot of people say get interns because as you're trying to get a job, people look for experience. People look for, somebody who they don't have to teach things. Being somebody who hires people all the time, I don't look at that experience as it's less that I have to teach you. I look at it as if you've done it once and you're coming back again, it's either something you like or I guess you're a fool if you're doing something that you don't like twice. So you really got to get out there and get the experience for yourself, because I went from engineering to accounting to finance, so I really found something that I liked. This job that Dr. Philbeck got me was truly a great opportunity. Even whenever I went into finance, finance is such a broad thing to say, well, I want to do finance. I passed level 1 of my CFA, thought it was pretty easy, so I took level 2. I thought that was terrible. I failed level 3 3 times and then decided that I didn't want to do that anymore. It wasn't because I couldn't do it. I was just so far down the path of my career going a different way that I didn't need that. So again, I went through, I did things that you got to do them to experience them, to realize that you don't want to do them. So from Westwind Financial, whenever I was working there, they asked me at Erie Management Group to go back in to the accounting department. So I actually took a step back in my career and went back into something that I didn't want to do. And a lot of my career was really being in the right place at the right time. So I went into this accounting department, did work at that time. Our company was restructuring, bringing in a new CEO and a new CFO. And something that happened in my career that will not happen in many careers. The CEO came to me, he knew that I did financial analysis for some of the companies. I did a lot of the budgeting for the companies, and now he saw me in the accounting department, and he came to me and asked me what I wanted to do. You will not have very many bosses, very many people that come to you and ask you what you want to do. So that was a very unique opportunity for me. And I told him, I want to be the guy who goes out and analyzes the companies before the purchase. Because a lot of what I was doing at that point was reviewing things after somebody else already made that decision. They'd go out and buy these companies. And for those of you that don't know, Erie Management Group is actually owned by Pat Black. So you'll see the Black School business. That's the individual that I was working for. So his number one goal was to bring jobs to Erie. And he had somebody who went out and found these businesses, brought them in. And that's when I would get involved with trying to structure these businesses, do all the analysis of the businesses. But the work was already done for the purchase. So when this CFO came in and CEO came in and they asked me what I wanted to do, I wanted to be the guy who went out, found these businesses for you to invest in. I wanted to go out and do that pre-work, not the work after it was already in here and dealing with that headache. So he looked at me and said, okay, do you got your passport? I got a business in Canada, get in your car and I'll see you in a week. Let me know if I should buy it. No, nothing about the business, didn't know who I was going to meet, didn't know anything. Just said sink or swim. So got in my car and drove to Canada. It's a company called Great Lakes Feeder Line. It's a terrible company. We did not invest in it. It was very unorganized. It was a giant waste of a trip, but a great learning experience to be able to travel up there, see it, do it, walk in and meet these people for the first time, figure out, what they're doing, where they're going, digging deep into what they're doing, and quickly realize that, you have a very short period of time to gather pertinent information. You don't have time to sit around, lollygag, and do things. So it was, I think, the confidence that I had in myself that, gave that guy the confidence in me to let me do that. And there's nothing that anybody can ever speak to you or say to give you confidence in yourself. You always have to have that. So no matter what you do, you have that confidence in yourself. It comes through to others for you to be able to do your job. When you think about, you didn't know how to do the time value of money. Somebody sat you in front of a book, read you one chapter out of the book. A week later, you knew how to do it. So you always got to have that confidence that you can figure out how to do things. Enough information out there, you can always figure out how to do it. So after that, he gave me a few other things that I could look into, figure out. I went quickly from just being a financial analyst to being Pat Black, senior corporate financial planner analyst. Every business that he wanted to purchase and every business that he wanted to sell off went through me. So it was kind of a very unique job for a 28-year-old kid to have in a business that size. At one point we had 17 businesses. Every one of the budgets ran through me. Anything that he wanted to buy ran through me. Anything that he wanted to sell ran through me. It was a tremendous amount of work, but I loved doing it. So it was really fun. The position I'm in now, one of the companies he wanted to get out of was Cold Draft International. Cold Draft International is located down on East Lake Road, across from the old hammer mill plant. We make ice machines, commercial ice machines, with a big square cube. It's a very unique process that they use, but I went in, he wanted to get out of it. So I went across the street. It was a company that was losing money tremendously. And I had to take some of these companies, especially this one, and cut it back to the bare bones. So those of you that think that you might want to do, management, you might want to do kind of what I'm doing or what I did. It's you got to have a little bit of strength in you to take names out of it, take positions out of it, and really just look at the business. So there were times where I had to take names off a piece of paper. I just looked at positions, salaries, and job descriptions, who's needed, who's not. These people got to go, get it back to the core so that it's a saleable business, and find a buyer. And that's what I did with Pool Draft. Got it back to the bones. I found a buyer for it who was Neil Asbury, one of the fastest growing guys in the food industry. He's not a dumb guy at all. He has a syndicated radio show, which I actually believe plays on the radio station here at campus. He's a published author. He actually spoke here at the opening of the new AMIC building up there. So he's a very intelligent guy. Found him to buy this company from us. Thought to travel back and forth, talking, doing everything. We were sitting in a room, me, him, Pat Black, another one of the advisors for Neil. And he says, I'm going to buy this company, but the only way I'm buying it is if he comes with it. And points at me. So it's another very unique experience in my short career to be a 30-year-old guy sitting in a room and a guy buys a company and buys you with it. It's a pretty undescribable feeling. But so I moved in there and I'm now the general manager there. He's had enough confidence in me to bring in 3 other companies. I'm actually flying out at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning to go to Chicago to load up all the assets of another company and bring them back to Erie. So you kind of go down these different paths of a career thinking you know what you want to do, from engineering to accounting to finance. You get into finance and you realize that finance is a very broad category. To say that I want to be in finance, what kind of finance? Do you want to do planning? Do you want to do analysis? Do you want to do your CFA, your CFP? So it's a very broad kind of thing. So if I can give you any advice, again, you got to get out there. You got to get as much experience as you can to figure out what you guys want to do. So, a little bit more about the company that I run now. The Cool Draft company, again, makes ice cubes. They range from 300, 500 to 1,000 pounds a day. The Bevless company is heating, holding, transport. So we make giant cabinets that hold food. We sell them to all Taco Bells, Yum Corporation, Cinnabon. I have a lot of dealings with big companies like that. The other company that I'm bringing in right now is Excalibur, hydrating equipment. One of their biggest customers is Starbucks. You go into Starbucks and see all their dehydrated food. That's all done in a dehydrator that we make. The giant warehouse that dehydrates all the food for them. So there's I still do a lot of finance, but I've even rotated somewhat out of finance and more into manufacturing. And that's what I really have a passion for and like to do, is now going out. I'm still doing finance. I'm still finding these companies that Neil can invest in. But then I don't even just do the analysis. I bring them back and actually turn them into a workable business from the manufacturing end and the business end. So it's very unique and exciting. So if you guys have any questions, I know that was a quick run through kind of where I've been, what I've done. I ran in here to kind of expecting to have a little bit more time to prep. So I thought we were doing this at 5:30, but it's quite all right. If you guys have any questions that you want to ask, anything that you want to know about my time here, experiences, what it is. You guys have a lot of good things here that weren't here whenever I was here. You have the prep courses for CFA. Whenever I was taking it, I actually went out and bought the CDs from the study for my CFA. I plop it in, and the first person that pops up is Dr. Philbeck talking to me on a CD, right down the hall, probably listening to himself talk on the CD. So I know that he has a lot to do with that, with the prep for that. You guys have your student trading, the student.
Sure, it's family student managed fund.
Yeah, the student managed fund, to get on things like that. There's so many opportunities for the groups here now that were not here whenever I was here only 10 years ago. This is only the second time I've been back on campus, and to see a new building back there. This building was actually still under construction whenever I was here, so it wasn't completed. The admission building wasn't here. It's amazing how quickly this place is growing and the opportunities that are presented to all of you. So I truly hope that you're taking advantage of some of these opportunities. How many people are on the fund? How many people manage?
Well, we have the president and CIO, the vice president of economic research, VP of auditing and reporting. Right now, I'm looking for a quant, so somebody to do a little bit of risk management, try to find some roles that they can do. And I'd really like a software engineer, a group of them, to try to come up with some algorithms for or in writing programming that would speed up some of the processes of valuation, because right now it's kind of slow. But I mean, we had, like Jason talked about, we have his model that, I mean, you just type in a stock ticker and it kind of runs the same things that we do with our traditional valuation models, with adding return on invested capital in each model with dividends. But other than that, we have a lead analyst for each of the sectors in the S&P 500, and then just in August they added the real estate sector. So yeah, we're just looking for people to fill some of the analyst spots for qualitative research, so don't be afraid to do that. But yeah, it's really, I think it's really come along. Traditionally, it was just juniors and seniors that did it, and now we're bringing in freshmen and sophomores.
Yeah, opportunities like that were not around whenever I was here. The other one that amazed me whenever I was at the opening of the AMIC building, the fact that they're combining an engineering and a business program together. Yeah, it's mind-boggling to know that you could have a degree that manages both business and engineering. Like I said, I started out 2 years in engineering, and that knowledge has been invaluable to me. It's just completely what drives my career right now in manufacturing. Without the finance side of things and understanding the business side, I obviously wouldn't be able to do my job. With not having that 2 years of what I thought then was wasted time, and now to have, say that a school actually thought of that and combined those two, there's a lot of things out there that you guys really need to consider and think about as you're doing and moving forward. Are you guys mainly juniors and seniors, or?
Got a few freshmen back over here.
You just put the point out, the freshmen. So, yeah, and it doesn't matter what year you are, if you're a freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior. Like you really gotta get out there, and it's more for you guys and girls to know what you're gonna do. It's very unique. Any other questions?
What's your advice for kind of like getting your resume out there, trying to talk to employers instead of just, like Indeed.com, just throw your resume on there?
No, I would look a little more specific again for what you want, because it's such a broad thing to you throw your resume out there. You don't know what's going to come back. Might be a good way. If you have no idea what you want to do, sure, that's a good way to go. I would recommend trying to figure out what you think you want to do, exactly what you want to do, and go and find that. That's what I did. I thought I wanted to do public accounting. Didn't at all want to do public accounting. Whenever I got in there, it was a nightmare. And I was really good at accounting, really good at accounting. I was better at accounting when I was in school than I was finance. You read it in a book, it excited me a lot more about accounting than it did finance. Whenever I went out and I put it into practice, it was not at all what I wanted to do. Got a lot of respect for the people that do it, but not at all for me. So, yeah, I would recommend, to finish that, I would recommend that you find exactly what you want to do, go to that business and try it, because it might turn out that it's not what you want to do at all. Yes?
You said your engineering experience, you really value that. How do you use that when you go see a manufacturer?
Well, the biggest thing is understanding what that manufacturing company's doing. So my main thing right now is I got to go in and I got to figure out what they're doing wrong. So I can look at all the numbers I want, and numbers will only tell you so much. Going out on the floor, seeing what they're doing, see how they're doing it. Those numbers are very important. Understanding the cost, understanding how they have everything structured, their labor, their overheads, understanding all that is great. But that's only a portion. It's a big portion of the picture. It's only a portion. It could be as simple as going out onto the floor and seeing that they don't have any any lean manufacturing. They don't have any flow to manufacturing. They don't have, so I look at their labor numbers and go, oh, well, they're just labor. It might be that their labor numbers are high because they have extremely high skilled labor, and that's what's needed, and there's no way to cut that out. If they can't cut it out and it's skilled labor, I'm not going to be able to cut it out. Bring that company in and think I'm going to do better than they are. I'm just going to bring it somewhere else, have the extremely high skilled labor costs that they do, and not make it any better, not be able to make money at it. Where the engineering really helps me is going out there, understanding the process, understanding what they're doing, understanding the product, and see, okay, I see in these numbers that a labor value is extremely high. Is that labor value extremely high because they're just inefficient? And it really helps me see those inefficiencies, see what they're doing with the product, where they're going with that product, so that you can then do a full analysis of the business. To me, an analysis of the business isn't just in the numbers. It's a huge portion of it, but really digging down into those numbers, that's where my engineering experience really helps me in going in and saying, okay, now how do I fix it? How do I make it better? Can we take costs out of the materials? Can I take costs out of the labor? You obviously gain efficiencies whenever I bring companies in. I'm sharing overhead, I'm sharing my office staff, pushing them a little harder, getting them to do a little bit more. But I don't need to normally bring on more accounting, more AR, more AP, more purchasing. I just share those resources and I'm spreading it over another business. So that's really where it's valuable to me. Is everybody in here just mainly finance, or you guys, anybody in here a dual major, or you guys econ or accounting?
Finance, mathematics, and statistics.
That sounds terrible. And you're econ?
Economic finance.
Is there anybody accounting and finance?
I don't like accounting.
You never know. I really didn't like finance. I was just doing it because it was a few extra credits. So again, have you done accounting?
Like in real life?
Yeah.
No, not yet.
See, so you didn't think you liked accounting. And that's a perfect example of what I would recommend. I mean, you think you don't like it, but you've never done it. Reading that book, doing things is a lot different than getting out there and trying it. So before somebody changes their mind like that, I strongly recommend to get out there. There's things you can do to get out there and really try it, because it's a lot different than reading it in books. I was the complete opposite. Loved accounting, thought finance was a nightmare. So I did them in real life and realized that that was the wrong assumption. Any other questions? Anything you guys, girls, want to know? How things work, where they go. I could teach you a lot about ice machines. So Our ice machines are actually very unique. They take water and they freeze water upside down. So the way our ice machine makes water is you think your ice tray to fill up and you put in the freezer, it freezes anything that goes in there. So you have impurities, air, everything in there, it freezes. So you ever crack your ice cube tray and dump it upside down, you'll see white crystals in there, a white cloud that freezes into the center. That's all the air and impurities pushing into the center of that ice. The way we freeze our ice is we take that ice tray, ours is made of copper, so it needs to be, have a high conductivity. So we take copper, nickel-plated copper, and we turn it upside down, and we spray water up. That water sprays into those cells, cascades around, and freezes ice in very small layers, layer by layer by layer. The pure water freezes first. The impurities will drop back out of the tank, back down into the tank. And so it's freezing in layers. You get no air in there, you get nothing in there except for the pure water. So when it harvests, we have an 1.25 by 1.25 inch, perfectly square cube. It is crystal clear, it melts slower, it's a harder, more dense ice than any other ice. So it's actually not, it's a lot that goes into freezing water that people don't realize. It's for high-end drinks. So our biggest markets are New York City, Chicago, Miami, LA, a few places in Texas, where they really want, you're going in, you're paying $16 for a drink. You want your drink to taste the same as the first drink to the last drink. So that's where our ice will come in and make it right. And it's a high-end, they call it gourmet ice. As odd as that sounds, it is a gourmet ice.
I didn't know they froze in layers. That's
Yeah, ours does. Normally, if you would freeze it right side up, or most ice machines use a vertical evaporator, not a horizontal evaporator. The water will just trickle down over it. Anything that hits it freezes, and it dumps it. And that's most of the places will just use that because they're scooping it out, throwing it in a plastic glass, giving you your Jack and Coke, and away you go for $1, especially here in Erie. And most of you under 21 are not supposed to know that. The ours actually freezes in layers, freezes out the impurities and becomes a solid ice cube. So it's kind of neat. It's really odd. Whenever we were looking, and Pat Black first bought this company, he bought it in 2004. So just before I started with them, and the market was completely different. And so you go through and you do a market analysis, and you're looking at everything. And that big cube that we had, everybody just looked at it and said, "This thing is ginormous. Nobody's going to want this. Why is he even buying this company?" They make this very unique ice cube. And it was about 2 years after he purchased it. So it's a perfect example of how an analysis of a market can change quickly. 2 years after he bought the company, people started going to school to become mixologists. You can go get an 18-month degree to become a mixologist. And, these people want larger ice, and they look at their ice cubes as a ingredient. It just, this whole market, in a very short period, flipped completely upside down. And where everybody was going with this small ice, who would ever even look at an ice cube like that? 2 years, 18 months later, it's the biggest thing, and everybody wants this large cube. And so even whenever you think you know and you do all the research you want in a business, because had I done the research, I would have said there's no way I would have bought this company. And here we are 10 years later, and ice is an ingredient that everybody looks at in their drinks. And you'll see recipes out there that mixologists put out there and call for a cold draft cube. It's kind of a very unique thing. So, yes, sir.
Do you make the spheres too?
We do not make the spheres. The thing with the spheres of ice takes a lot of energy. So if you think about how much energy it would take to freeze through ice, because you're only touching that ice at 1.25 inch cube that we make now, you're only touching on 5 sides with the copper. And as I freeze that ice, I'm freezing through the ice to the center of it. So it takes a lot of energy to freeze water through water. And our wonderful Department of Energy thinks they need to regulate the amount of energy I can use to make an ice cube. So to make those spheres, it's so much energy. Freezing through a lot of water to freeze it down. It's very difficult to do. Most of them are actually made in molds. So they're not made in a machine that's actually doing it. So we fill in a mold, put in a mold in the freezer until the water freezes. So we do not make the sphere. The biggest cube we can make is 1¼ by 1¼ perfectly square. I know you guys wanted to talk more about finance and ice.
I kind of like the how it's made lecture. That I didn't know any of that.
Yeah, I recently did a thing for the news, Made in America, and they did one on cold draft. And whenever he came in, it's David Belmondo, and he'd come in. Whenever he walked in, I sat down, I started telling him, and he goes, like this, he shuts off the camera. He goes, I never realized there's so much that went into freezing water. So all we're doing is just taking the heat out of water. Most people don't realize how much actually goes into making an ice cube in those little machines that throw it into your glass. There's a lot that go into them. We've been doing it since 1955. So, any other questions about resumes, getting jobs? Glad to answer anything you guys have, even if it's not something that I've talked about.
All right. Well, thanks, JD.